recording. And Deb, I would love it if you would introduce what KIP is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Deborah Callahan. I'm from Rockford, Illinois, and we're so happy to have you join us tonight. Our Knowledge is Power Hour is a forum for individuals seeking natural approaches for health issues, as well as optimizing their general health and well-being. And our discussions are centered on holistic alternatives to a variety of health concerns, sharing knowledge as we grow together, and using our talents and our gifts to make a difference in this world. And we feel together that we're creating a movement that can impact many lives. And a little bit about me, I've been helping people restore and optimize their health for over 30 years. My degrees are in nutrition and dietetics and cardiac rehabilitation, exercise physiology. And I've had the privilege of working with some of the top medical minds in the world who believe, as I believe, and I know a lot of you believe this as well, that the body has the ability to heal itself when given the proper nutrients and tools. So now I would like to introduce my friend and my business and health partner, Liz Geeslin.
Oh, thank you, Deb. And I'm going to start by saying normally who would be joining us here is Adrienne Gerard, who is also our business partner and health and wellness advocate. And I'm going to let Barb in. And she couldn't be here tonight. She has some family things she's dealing with, but she sends her regards and knows that feels very happy that this will be recorded so she can catch up later. But a little bit about me. As most of you know, I trained horses professionally for 35 years and 7 years ago morphed into a personal chef. My horse friends are still confused about that. But anyway, it's been a great way for me I really took charge of my health right at the beginning of that and have been on a consistent health journey through helping my clients with better food. And then as I've been introduced to, especially now Modexus, it has just really opened my eyes to just how many things that we can do holistically with our health and just taking charge and learning more, and the education in what we try to establish here has just been fantastic. So it is my pleasure now, and actually I'm going to maybe put April on the spot for just a minute, but April actually reached out to me and said, I listened to this young woman speak, and she said, Liz, I think she needs to be a Knowledge is Power speaker. And so April was the one, if you would like to unmute if you want, April, just briefly share a little bit about how you met Janet, and then if you'd be so kind, I'm going to let you introduce her. You need to unmute.
Hold on. I just hit.
There you
go.
My
buttons are going crazy tonight. It's up on a box. Sorry. I met Janet through another conference, a health-minded conference that I attend. And I was just so impressed with her approach and feel that it is so adaptable to so many situations. She's going to be sharing one aspect of visible transitions tonight. However, she has multiple tools, I should say, that you can use to address whatever you need to, and also to get the brain to happily come along with you.
Right.
Instead of fight you. I don't have her bio up because I didn't know I was doing the introduction. That's why I was But if I can give that back, I am just impressed with her and her ability, and just I see so much potential in this, and I hope everybody else gets as much as I did out of it. But I'm going to give it back to you to read it.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Thank you, April.
April, I'm proud of you because I thought about texting you. I thought, no, I'm just going to put her on the spot. It's family. You're right. So it is my pleasure. And April, thank you for bringing Janet into our family here so we can have her speak. But I would love to introduce you all to Janet Caliri. She lives in Sonoma, California, and I do believe she's got a very interesting and enlightening story to tell and something really fun to share with us. So Janet, take it away with us. Take it away.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. So nice to see you and meet you, and thank you for being here. The energy feels really alive and exciting, and I'm happy about that. That's wonderful. the sunglasses are part of my story, and I'm really looking forward to sharing my story and how I went from suffering to celebration using my own methodology, and then I'm going to show you one of my practices so you have a substantial tool to take away tonight. How does that sound? All right. And then I'm open for questions and okay, well, so my name is Janet Caliri. I'm originally from Boston. I live in Sonoma County, California. And 11 years ago, I had a chronic illness. It was adrenal exhaustion, and I lost everything, like friendships, my car, my business. It all went away. And I ended up on the floor of my childhood bedroom in my parents' house at the age of 44. Not pretty. And I was on the floor and, you know, ready to check out, not wanting to live here at all. And I said to life, what is going to get me up off this floor and help me be of service again? So that was a question, as you can see, question marks. I'm all about curiosity. You'll hear more about that. And I asked the question and I just let the question go as if it was in a bubble and it just floated away. And I stayed unattached to the answer. And then the answer came in 3 different forms, which now is what I call visible transitions. And that is my photographic methodology using curiosity and a smartphone camera, and you're going to learn one of the techniques today. So that question helped save my life, and then the answer, I was just completely gifted and blessed. Visible transition. It came to me in different points, and I took the information and I practiced the information, and it helped me heal exponentially. So it optimized my healing process, meaning I actually felt joy and I felt ease, and I returned to my personal power, into that conviction to live pretty quickly, quite easily. So I'm here to show you and talk to you about how my technique can help you and the people you love to navigate life changes like Corona apocalypse. That's what I call it. We're all during some kind of change in Corona apocalypse. And up here, we also have the wildfires. And that topped with my brain injury, not a really fun time. So I do things like this to help me smile and hopefully put a smile on your face. But honestly, my vision, it's impaired, and so it's, sometimes I have my eyes closed. It's too much to be looking not only at a screen, but even like I had a friend here and I was in conversation with her without my sunglasses in the evening when it was pretty, dark, and I still have a hard time like staring at something for probably more than 2 minutes. So now, back in November of last year, my body broke out in life-threatening hives all over my body. I had no idea what that was about. It turned out it was a parasite, which then turned into mast cell activation syndrome, which I think I still have. Just a myriad of things. And then in January, my throat started swelling closed as a result of the hives. And I took myself to the emergency room. I got drugged up, and in a day and a half, when I was in the bathroom that morning, I went unconscious. I think it was some kind of overload of mixing of drugs, which I really never do, have meds. So I went unconscious. I smashed my head and my nose. When I came to, I got up to go get my phone, and I went unconscious again and fell backwards and smashed my whole body and my head again. So I have a traumatic brain injury. And while I was riding in the ambulance on the way to the hospital for the second time in 2 days, my throat was starting to close again. So I did what I've invented, one of my processes called the neutrality process. And so I said to the paramedic, my throat is closing. I'm going to do my neutrality practice to calm down. He's like, okay, like whatever. He didn't know what I was talking about. So I will show it to you today. So what it is basically looking at your environment without giving it any meaning. So looking at what is there without giving it meaning. It's the meaning that causes our suffering. When we use the primary 5 senses, sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch, and in this case, mostly sight and hearing, we take data in and then the brain creates a story. It just does. So a judgment isn't necessarily bad, it's just a story. And then often we believe the story and then we live through that context. And most of us are suffering as a result. We suffer in some way, mentally or emotionally, or it shows up in our body physically. And I did the neutrality practice for maybe a minute and a half, and the paramedic, his jaw dropped, and he said, whatever you just did brought your vitals back to normal. So I had no idea that my technique could actually save a life, but there you go, it can save a life. And that's the neutrality practice. So neutrality, let's talk about neutral. I'm a believer in curiosity. Abiding in that state of curiosity helps to put us in that neutral space, that place of acceptance, like it is what it is, and put us into the parasympathetic nervous state. So probably most of you are familiar with that term, yeah? Parasympathetic state, right? So it's the relaxed state. That's where we can heal, versus the fight or flight state, where we are stressed out and our cortisol is acting up, and it's hard to heal in that space. That's where we get like really stressed and overwhelmed. So give me a minute. This is how my brain works now. It just stops. Even in the middle of a talk, it'll just stop. Okay, so curiosity is a way to calm yourself down, get you out of overwhelm, the stress, the anxiety, the suffering, getting you into being connected with yourself and with others. So being in a state of curiosity and neutrality is the opposite of resistance. And I talk a lot about resistance. Most of us have some level of resistance and we're not even aware of it. So the resistance, for me, it comes in 2 parts. One is that pushing away, like avoiding, or I don't want to feel the feeling, I don't want to see this. And then the other part of the resistance is the attachment and the addiction and the craving. So often we have this dance going on where we have some form of resistance. And again, that creates stress in the body. So my work helps you to get into that neutral, curious state. And it has immediate results and benefits, but it also has long-term benefits, because it's essentially it's helping you develop emotional intelligence, to have a high EQ, so that you're not at the effect of life. You're not at the effect of external circumstances like corona apocalypse and wildfires and someone you love being sick and losing a job and being in a car accident. So all of these situations are part of life, and life is the workshop. So my motto and my mission, if you want to help me, is about experiencing and feeling joy and feeling that ease and calm and staying in your conviction and your personal power during these transitions, like being that eye of the storm. And I've been through a lot of transitions, like many, many doozies. I could tell you stories forever. It's in my next book that is coming out called Dancing with My Eyes Closed, which I named years ago, not knowing that my eyes would be closed a lot. And so how much time do I have now? I didn't even pay attention. Do we know how much time?
You're fine, Janet. Yeah, you're good. Yeah,
Okay,
it's just
good.
8:20. You're fine. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So who here feels like they could use a little bit more steadiness and groundedness during Corona apocalypse or in dealing with your life? Maybe you have a health issue. Anybody, or is it just me?
Okay, here comes Mary. Okay.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, most of us, we're conditioned to externalize and think that something is making us feel a certain way, and that's actually not the truth. We're feeling how we're feeling based on intuition, based on energy, based on what we make up in our heads, which I spoke to a little bit about, like how our senses take in data and then it makes up a story. So visible transitions can help you be more present with yourself, be more present with others. I just had a client talk today on my, I run a monthly luncheon, leadership luncheon, and she spoke today how she felt triggered regarding her husband, and she did the neutrality practice, and before he got home, she was just completely off of it. And so she could greet him with loving kindness and openness versus, I'm mad at you, I don't want to talk to you. That resistance, you know? So I often say to people that curiosity is the hero and resistance is the villain. And I'm wondering if anyone here would like to share maybe something you or confidentially a loved one is going through in terms of their health, an example, and then I can hone in on that and come in with some ideas about it if anybody wants certain.
Right, I think Mary and Sue both raised their hands, and so did Barb. So we've got several, I think. So go ahead.
Okay. Mary looks like she's unmuted, so yes.
I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I had to go to the doctor actually today, my surgeon who did my double mastectomy, and she found a lump. And right away, of course, I panicked and I was sent to go have an ultrasound.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just beyond. I did find out it is okay. So, but
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that it's, you know, it's not cancerous. It's not something to worry about. So that's a great example of how we can just make up a story and then go into panic. Mm-hmm. And then we're in the fight or flight mode, and we're so not in the healing mode. And I'm going to show you the neutrality practice in a few minutes, so you'll get an idea on how to work with that.
Okay.
Thumbs up, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barb?
Yes, it's regarding my daughter. She just got out of the hospital and she's having major neck and back spine issues. and with bulging discs and stenosis, and I'm taking her tomorrow to see a pain management doctor. But she is just, the way she was treated so awful that she's really been affected by it. And because of a spine doctor accusing her of having a drug problem because she took Percocet 3 years ago. And so she's refusing to take the muscle relaxers that she's supposed to be on until she goes tomorrow. Because she's, I will not be called a drug addict. And she doesn't get it that that's not a narcotic, but it so traumatized her.
I'm so sorry to hear about that. And there's definitely a way for you and your daughter to get your feel like you're back in your warrior mode. And because as you all speak to, I'm sure in your gatherings, is that we, and Deborah had said it, that our body has wisdom. And so this technique can help you stand right with conviction and that wisdom, and listen to your body and know that the doctor is not the end all be all. The doctors, they don't know everything, and that there are so many options and possibilities. When I was lying in bed all these months this year, back in March was another time that I wanted to leave planet Earth. And so I thought, well, I'm going to save my life using a question again. So I asked life, okay, what is going to help me want to live and heal and be of service? And the answer came a while later, but the question is, what is option 3? So I'm bringing that to you now. What is option 3, especially when we're dealing with conventional medicine? One of the reasons why I left, I did work in the medical field in cardiovascular radiology for 14 years. And one of the reasons I left is because it became a business, and patients started to become a number versus the people. So I'm going to show you my practice, and you and your daughter can take that for tomorrow, and you're going to feel so much stronger. And going to that neutral place helps us connect with that body wisdom. So we all have intuition, but if we're resistant and we get all this noise and these stories, it's really hard to access intuition. And so the neutrality practice helps you to connect to it pretty damn good. Okay, so hang on there, Barb. Was there somebody else? You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay. All right, so I think it's a good time to show you the neutrality practice. This was the third part. There's 3 keys. There's 3 processes. This was the third one, and I call it the meat and potatoes. It's extremely powerful in the moment, and then long term. And my clients now have more harmonious relationships with themselves and their loved ones. Their inner critic is much quieter than it ever was before, and they know how to get into that parasympathetic state when they need to. So since our focus is on health today, because you can use this technique, but all 3 techniques in any given area of your life, and it doesn't even have to be a transition like something major. It could be a transition throughout your day, like you're driving and you're irritated with the driver in front of you or beside you. It's amazing to use in day-to-day communication, especially with someone you're close with and you tend to butt heads. It's a great way to just calm the heck down and not feed the fire, because we often feed the fire, and the neutrality practice just gets you like into warrior mode. And then if you're like in an argument with someone, now they have no fire to feed, and suddenly they start to calm down. amazing how relationships transform just with my clients doing their part, right? Because we cannot change anybody. We cannot change anybody. And it's futile to want to or even attempt to. All right, so I'm going to show you this picture. I'm going to show you this picture. And what I want you to do is just notice what happens. Like, do you have a reaction? Do you have a story? Do you have words? Do you have emotions or feelings when I show you the picture? Okay, ready? All right. So if you want to unmute, that would be great. And you can just share what came up for you or what is coming up for you.
Wow, lots of meds.
Okay. There's no right or wrong answer. So whatever comes up, just shout it out.
That looks like something my grandmother took.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks like my mother's kitchen table.
It looks like,
I work around it every day.
okay.
Lots of attempts to try to find the right combination.
Makes me feel happy I don't have that.
No kidding. It's,
And I went straight to the holistic because I saw magnesium and B vitamins. So I went to the fact that, okay, they're going to discard all the medication and they're going to go for the healthy.
right.
Oh, that's good.
Great. So I think an overall reaction was like, oh my God, there's so many medications.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Frightening.
Frightening. Uh-huh. Yeah. Anything else?
Overwhelmingly sick.
Overwhelmingly, yeah. Okay.
Expensive.
I feel grateful that I don't have any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, so in this case, your eyes took in, that's one of your basic 5 senses. Your eyes took in information and then you thought, wow, that's a lot of meds. Oh, that's my grandmother. That's a lot of work to keep track of. By the way, it really was a lot of work to keep track of. I'm happy that that's not me and I'm not in that situation. It's frightening. It's overwhelmingly sick. Okay, great. So this is what we do every day, all of us. And so one of the notions that I love is the more I know myself, the better my life works. The more I know myself, the better my life works. So the more information I have about myself, the more aware I become and the quicker I catch stories like this, like frightening, overwhelming, that's a lot of medications, that's a lot of work, whatever stories come up. The objective is to catch the story so that you're not living in the story. You're not unconsciously living in the story. And so now I'm going to teach you the neutrality practice. I want to pause for a minute before I do that and say something which I haven't said yet. So I'm talking about awareness. The more aware we are of ourselves, the easier it is to catch the inner critic and the stories. The easier it is to desensitize and dissolve our triggers, our emotional triggers, that resistance. And I want to say something about the brain. So the brain hates change. And how many of you work with clients like on an ongoing basis? Okay, so you know that the repetition and consistency over time, that's what yields the good results. And because the brain hates change, it takes science says it takes 90 to 265 days to create a lifelong change, a lifelong habit. So that's why we hire coaches and mentors and consultants And with the visible transitions technique, you are activating new neurons in the hippocampus. That's the part of the brain where we learn. That's the part where we can create or dismantle habits and mindsets. So when you look through a different lens, and that's, you know, pun intended, the metaphor is to look through a different lens versus the context that you are used to. When you look through a different lens and you're taking a picture, you're activating new neurons in the brain. So those are taking over the old neurons that produce your conditioning. And all of us here are about creating new habits and mindsets and patterns to optimize our health. So it takes time. And the visible transitions technique will help you get there quicker and easier. You're activating new neurons. They take over the old ones that are your conditioning. And so why not? Anything to help the old conditioning. You're also activating serotonin and dopamine, the good feeling hormones. So why not? And so those are benefits in feeling good. And then you're also, like if you were to take this picture, which I did, so I collected all my supplements and my medication, and I put it on the floor and I took a picture because I wanted to see reality. I wanted to look at the truth, because when we look at the truth in a neutral way, then we dissolve the resistance, the struggle, the upset, the reactivity, and thus we actually return to our personal power. And of course, the sun's coming in right through a little crack in the blind. Okay, now, so far so good. I know I'm probably dumping a lot of info. Okay. Okay, so now the neutrality practice. What I want you to do, and everybody unmute if you feel comfortable enough. Now you're going to look at this picture and you're going to tell me what's there. So basically nouns. You're just going to talk about nouns. You're not going to use colors, no shapes, no sizes, nothing that gives it meaning. So for example, this is it's a Benadryl box. Now it's pink and blue and it says Benadryl. So instead of saying Benadryl or a pink and blue box, all you're going to say is box. Okay, so you're stripping any excitement, any meaning from what you see here. So the idea, so this is what I did in the ambulance. I just went over and over all the things I saw. There wasn't much in the back there, and I repeated it over and over again I have people do it for 2 minutes. I might have done it for 2 minutes. I'm not sure. I think it was less, and my vitals came to normal. So this technique is great to do when you're upset and you just need to like calm down, get a grip. This is really good. Okay, so just call out things that you see.
Plastic bottles.
Containers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Packages.
Okay.
Packet.
Labels.
So instead of plastic bottles, because that's a description, we just want to say bottles.
Bottles, lids,
Liz, yeah.
boxes,
Cardboard. Container.
Carpet.
carpet,
Labels.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you can do it like this. Bottle, 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 bottle.
Yeah.
Somebody's laughing already. That's putting you into parasympathetic state already.
Right.
It does seem a little ridiculous, and that's the point. You know, cap, 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 cap. Okay. Even well, go one step beyond label, because label is still a description. You could say like paper,
Or-
or you could just start reading the words, you know, or the letters like CALIRIJANET, for example, or BENADRYL, DOCA.
Oh.
So the more neutral, like as boring you can get, is the ultimate goal. I'm more with you. Hang on a second.
So don't say the word, but you can spell it.
What was
I
that?
like that.
And
Boring.
you don't say the word, but you can spell. You can just say the letters.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. How many of you have kids? Anyone here have kids? Okay, great. So this would, they might be grown, but I think everyone can relate to this picture. So what's the first thing that comes to you?
Close the door.
That's
Boy, I remember those statements. Just close the door.
close the door. That's good.
Close the door. Yeah. Okay. So this is a pretty common sight
Oh my God.
in many homes, and can cause people to want to close the door, and you know, parents feeling unheard and frustrated with their kids not doing what they're told to do, or wondering how they can live in the mess and whatnot. So I'm constant. I work with a lot of parents and kids, and this is one of the most common issues. Okay, so now let's do the neutrality practice with this. So you just call out things that you see.
Hanger.
Teddy bear.
Teddy, yeah.
Wood.
Backpack.
Towel.
Clothes,
Ribbons.
laundry basket,
No.
Water bottle.
Okay, so I'm going to pause. Instead of teddy bear, I would say toy.
Okay.
Okay.
And instead of laundry basket, I would say basket, because the laundry part is the description. And then instead of water bottle, just say bottle.
Okay.
Okay. So again, we're just stripping as much description as possible. So keep
Boring,
going.
boring, right?
Right. Just as boring as you can be.
As boring as you can be, yes.
You know, I have a question. When I look at that, it overwhelms me. Like, there's no way that I could go into a relaxed state, because that just kind of blows my mind, just even looking at it.
Yes.
So for me to pick that apart is difficult, because I would never want to see that. I'm sorry. I've never seen that, and I don't want to.
Well, okay, so you're not alone in that. That's Teresa, as far as like, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't even know how to pick it apart. So what I invite you to do is just take a breath and allow your eyes to go to one thing.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter what it is, because I have clients who deal with the messes, you know, the laundry, the messes all over the house, and you know, they said the same thing, like, no way, I'm so overwhelmed, there's no way I can even look at it. And then once they get past the resistance of even doing the neutrality practice, which, by the way, people have resistance in doing the practice, and the practice is actually to dissolve the resistance. Then now they're just doing it on a daily basis and just calming down and getting off of it and just going about their day like no sweat at all. So their minds and their emotions are not preoccupied with the with the irritation. I'm really glad you brought that up.
Right.
Yeah.
In a way, Janet, isn't then you're giving that room the power, it's.
You're not. You know why?
I mean, if you let it where that then overwhelms you, it's
It overwhelms you.
it's rather than just like you were teaching us, is just stepping away, being neutral, and instead of giving the room the power to overwhelm you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to say is, and I said it earlier, is that nothing can overwhelm us. Nothing can make us feel a certain way. So when we say it overwhelms me, we're actually giving our power away, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the personal power conviction position is I feel overwhelmed. So it always starts with I, because it's ownership. I feel overwhelmed when I look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so once you start doing the neutrality practice and you neutralize, now you have your power back, and the room no longer has its power over you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Even if it's a person triggering you when you're talking to them, as Janet teaches, you can just silently say to yourself while you're looking at them, hair, forehead, eyebrow, eye, nose, lip, tooth, whatever, chin, neck. And just repeat that in your mind. And it takes that energy, that anger from you down, or that upset from you down, so they don't feed off of it. And it puts you into a really powerful position.
Yeah, and not the dominating power, right? It
No, but powerful in yourself, the warrior.
Yeah.
Right.
That you are in control of you.
And then suddenly, as April was saying, then that person you're talking with has no fire to feed, and suddenly they're like, "What's up? What's going on?" And then everybody gets calm.
Go neutral. What can they do?
Right.
Yeah. So there's there's a lot of juice in being upset and
it's so much
all over the place, but we can get our juice elsewhere.
Right.
And again, it's that our brain is receiving information, and then we're making up a story, and then we're feeling the emotion, right? It has nothing to do with that thing out there. Mm-hmm. Yet we're conditioned that way, so we're neutralizing the thing out there.
Right.
And it works. So, Mary, it would work for you to look at your body and do stand in front of a mirror and do the practice on your body. And the next time you talk to a doctor or you go in, like if you're on the phone tomorrow talking to a doctor, you can do the neutrality practice right in your environment. Even though your environment is not upsetting, you can still do the practice. And the one thing I didn't mention is to take a picture of the thing you're upset with. So take a picture of the person, or a picture of the person. And the thing that you're upset with, you take a picture of it, and then you do the practice. And so Barb, you and your daughter, when you're going to the doctor tomorrow?
Yes.
Barb, okay. So like on your way there to the doctor, you can do the neutrality practice while you're driving, tire, window, person, tree, fence, post, grass. You can do it all. I know. And then you start laughing. So it's putting you right into a parasympathetic state. It's so And when you go into that building, oh, that's such a great place. I have people going to court, and they're calling me on the way to court, and I'm like, neutrality practice, and they get into court, and they're doing it all over the place, and they're just calm and in their power. So when you go into the building, into the doctor's building, just do it in the building, and when you're speaking with your doctor, you can do it quietly I think you said it was him, and hair, forehead, eyebrow, eye, nose, mouth, lip, da. And sometimes it takes only 10 seconds to calm you down, you know. And
Right.
and your daughter, you know, your daughter does not have to take how that doctor is treating her. And you're, you know, if your daughter, in fact, the doctor is labeling her, and the neutrality practice is about dissolving labels.
Well, hopefully this doctor tomorrow, he can't be worse than the spine doctor, that's for sure.
Okay, yeah.
Good.
I hope that was helpful.
Yes.
Yes.
Very much.
And then her
Thank you.
photographic processes and how she has you look at things and adapt your mind to change. It would be great to hear sometime at a later time.
Right.
Yeah, there's the tracking subtle steps of progress, because we don't celebrate enough, and our brain needs to see, because the brain hates change. It needs to see that we're doing something along the way. And then the third one is to take photos of your emotions and feelings. So at another time, or you could go to my YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos there where I teach. And yeah, so do you have questions and comments right now?
What is your YouTube channel, your name?
Say that again?
Your YouTube channel, is it just look up your name?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And you can subscribe while you're there if you want to.
Right. And also, everybody, Janet put in the chat that she's, tell me again, Janet, what it was. Is it a
Yes, so my beta program starts next week, and it's called From Suffering to Celebration, which is what this work does for you and your loved one. So it was created based on some doctors that I've been involved with. Their patients need emotional and mental support. So this support group is actually filling that void, because there's the patient or the client, and then the practitioner and the doctor. But the void, the missing piece, mostly everywhere, is the emotional and mental support, like how to neutralize, like when I get a call and I feel another lump on my breast, like the waiting period between visits with practitioner or doctor. And of course, it can be used in so many other areas. So this is my beta program, meaning that it's the first time I'm doing the program. All the content is not new. I've been doing this for years, and it's my own thing. So it's called From Suffering to Celebration. It starts next week, and the price is 75% off. So I cut the price in half because of Corona apocalypse. And then with beta, I'm reduced the price again. So basically, I'm asking for a 6-month commitment because of the brain hates change. And we're going to create a beautiful synchronistic group, and it's a confidential group. And we're going to meet twice a month, and I'm going to teach you my entire methodology. I'm going to teach you other ways, like ways to communicate and whatnot. And then we are going to have a lot of time to share our wins and celebrate with each other, because sharing our wins and celebrating is half the battle to healing and reaching our goals. Like, you meet every Monday, so this is the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so the link is in the chat here, and you can contact me directly if you have more questions. There's a free intro tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. if you want to join that. Should I give you an easy way to contact me for more questions, or what's?
So I don't see anything in the chat.
Okay, I'm going to put it again.
Okay. Yeah, she's got in the, she's got a link there. And what I can do, you guys.
Now I see it.
See it now? Okay, good. Okay.
Oh, I didn't see it.
And you can actually, well, depending on what you're on, you can save it, but I'll save all this, you guys, when I download everything. So I can make sure, obviously I can get anything of Janet's to you. So, but I want to make sure we just have, I know before we close out, we also want to have Patty. She's got a testimonial tonight, but would love, any of you guys have any direct questions for Janet? We'll take you one at a time. If anybody has something specifically they would like to ask her. I have a question. Janet, your brain injury itself, so that's relatively recent in light of things, right?
Yeah.
So were you practicing this methodology that you're using before the brain injury?
Yeah, so I've been practicing this since it came to me in 2010.
Okay.
And I've been teaching it. And then when I had this accident and was bedridden and not working and whatnot, I used it a lot.
Sure.
And yeah, and then I gained some new tools that I've added. And that's what I was saying. My doctor was she was so blown away by how I helped myself heal.
Right.
It took a lot of pressure off of her.
Right.
Because she didn't have to deal with the emotional issues, and I got to regulate myself pretty easily.
Yeah.
You were actually practicing on you.
Yeah.
So you're a living example of your practice.
Yes, I am a product of my product, and I've been using it on myself since I invented it in 2010.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like you said, it came to you. I mean, you were open. I mean, and that's things like that. I mean, they happen for a reason.
They do.
Really believe that. It wasn't by accident.
No, I just feel so blessed because I love it so much and it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can tell.
When was your injury?
Right. She was open.
How long ago?
January 16th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can put your sunglasses back on.
Well, this has been fabulous. Again, another wonderful Knowledge is Power meeting. You guys are forum talk. I just love this. And but I'm very excited because I want to have Patty share. It might be a little bit even of an emotional testimonial, but Patty, I'd be thrilled if you would share so far what's happening with you, my sweetie.
Thank you, Liz. I actually, just a little background here. I took on a position as a long-term substitute teacher in an online course. Obviously, we're online, and in an ILP class, which are typically students that have, well, not all these students have the same thing. They got put in this class. So there's a lot of challenges. And I got my computer and then I was thrown into the class. That was on a Friday, got my computer thrown in the class on Monday. I had done 2 of these types of situations, one online, but I have been so stressed these last 3.5, 4 weeks. And I have been ready just to pull my hair out, because it's like, oh, I didn't know I needed this until I figure out that I need this. And there's been no support and no help. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. So I wanted to quit about 1 million times, but I thought, well, who's going to teach these kids? And not that I'm doing a great big, presentation every day. We're on Zoom call for 3 hours, which is a challenge in itself. And so I have gotten lots of missed opportunities for sleep, waking up at 3 in the morning and, stressing about all the things I got to do for the day and just started taking, the Modexis products. And I can't say enough about the lift. I like to test things out for myself, because I want to be like, tell somebody what it did for me. And so last week I would take the lift in the morning, and it was like almost within minutes, my whole I got a clear head. I've got the ability to stay awake. I got, no matter what time, I woke up, some days it was 4, some days it was 5, but that is getting better regulated too, because the stress value is going down. So I didn't take him over the weekend and took it this morning. I was so excited because I was actually going to teach from school today. And I just got, that clarity. And even though no matter what it was, my first day, Zoom went down. We were not even able to log in. So here I am, frantic about getting into this class, and you're not able to log in. So for 45 minutes go by, and I finally got to see the kids, and that was just like icing on the cake. So just having the ability to remain calm and to know that I don't need to drink, I don't drink coffee, but I do drink, some tea. I don't do it often, but I just had that alertness and that awakeness, and just having the ability to plunge through and just help these kids, because the teacher is on maternity leave. And as my friend says, she goes, why did you not get any plans, any sub-plans? Why didn't you get anything? She says, you don't have a baby with a day,
Right.
She left me like out to dry. I feel like I've been dropped off in the desert, and hope your internet lasts type of thing. But we're plugging along. I have perfect attendance at least 2/3 to 3/4 of the time. So
Good.
I guess.
Good.
But yes, I can't say enough about the lift, and I just want to,
Good. Well, and Patty, I can really see, because Patty and I are friends, and we'll go for a few weeks not seeing each other, and it was a huge difference. I mean, after she had been using the lift, and I could just see her smile was back, and she was just feeling more just back to yourself, and more so. And what's great is now look at what we've learned from Janet today.
Oh my gosh, that was wonderful.
I know it. And just being able to combine all these wonderful tools, if you will, it just makes it even that much better. It's just fantastic. So, yeah.
I want to say thank you so much
Nutrients
for
and
giving
tools.
me the
Nutrients and tools.
Yes.
Yeah. I wanted to thank you so much for the opportunity to speak, and for all of you listening and participating. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Liz.
Oh,
April, thank you so much.
yes, it's our joy. I know that
Thank you.
being here, but all of you again, thank you so much. I'll have the recording uploaded and where we can get it out to everybody. And lots of fun healing thoughts for both Mary and Barb and her daughter, and just keep loving one another. So this has been great, everybody.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So much.
Right. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.